נשמה שנתת בי טהורה היא אלוהים נשמה שנתת בי
Rabotai, welcome back. Welcome back to Arba Amot Shel Halacha.
הנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות, ריבון כל המעשים, אדון כל הנשמות.
Rabotai, welcome back to Dalet Amot Shel Halacha. Elo LaKadosh Baruch Hu Be'olamo Elo Arba Amot Shel Halacha Belvat. If you saw the previous shiur, part 5, and you realized that it got cut off, Rabotai, you have to understand it's amazing because when I was speaking then, I was continuing another 30 minutes into the shiur to only realize when I got up to turn off the video, I realized that it was blank screen, it was completely off, whether it's the battery, whether it's the storage, not 100% sure. So that's why it got erased. So today's shiur, Rabotai, in Siman Reish Tzadik Tet, we're going to continue in phase 2 of the halacha. Today's going to be part 6, but we're only going to have a review only because we didn't do the review in part 5. Well, I did the review, but it didn't go on the recording only because it got cut off. In any event, I'm going to continue with the Beit Yosef right away, and then we'll get into the review. Again, please listen to part 5 of the shiur in order to understand the review in a better fashion. Rabotai, we are right now in Siman Reish Samach Zayin, in Halacha Bet, in the Amudei Hora'ah in Otehei, the small font in Amudei Hora'ah, where he brings the dat of the Beit Yosef. Again, I'm continuing from where I left off in part 5. So Rabbi Dahan says over here, Amnam lefi ma shebi'er Maran Beit Yosef. However, according to what Maran the Beit Yosef explained, there's no reason to make this difference. Just like you rely on the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam, that he fulfilled his obligation of reciting the Kriyat Shema from Plag HaMincha in regards to being able to start a meal within 30 minutes of the Zman of Shema. So it's over here. So when it comes to the halacha, that a person needs to recite the Shema in the beginning of the time, meaning when the time actually came, we're also going to rely on the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam. It's fine. It's okay to eat before Kriyat Shema. Even though the Zman of Tzedek Kochavim came, one is allowed to go ahead and is allowed to be lenient to start the bread meal. Rabotai, before we start the Chazara, what is Rabbi Dahan telling us in this chiluk of the Beit Yosef? Rabbi Dahan is saying like this: why did Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef, Rav David Yosef, and the Rav Chaim, why did they make this difference? Why did they say that we are allowed to rely on Rabbeinu Tam in regards to being able to say Shema after Plag HaMincha, but that's only good for you to be able to start the meal within 30 minutes of the Zman of Kriyat Shema? But when the Siman of Kriya Shema comes, even though you recited the Arabic prayer after Plaga Mincha, since you did not begin in the 30 minutes, but rather you're beginning now at the Siman of Kriya Shema, the three Gedolim want to tell us that you're not allowed to begin the bread meal unless you first say Shema, even though you said Shema before, after Plaga Mincha. Comes Rabbi Dahan says, why are you making this difference? If you are relying on Rabbeinu Tam, that if you went ahead and you said Aravit, and now you are within 30 minutes, so you rely on Rabbeinu Tam, that you fulfilled your obligation, Kriya Shema, in regards to being able to start the bread meal within 30 minutes of the Zman of Shema, you rely there, correct? Good. Rely also when the Zman of Shema came. Why do you have to tell me when the Zman of Shema came? Over there, I'm not going to rely on Rabbeinu Tam. But within 30 minutes, over there, I'm going to rely on Rabbeinu Tam. 1 second. Are we relying on Rabbeinu Tam or not? Rabbi Dahan says, if you're relying, go all the way. Whether it's within 30 minutes that he's beginning, or when he's beginning at the Zman of the Kriya Shema itself, he's always allowed to rely on Rabbeinu Tam, since he already did daven after Plaga Mincha. Now, Rabotai, this is where we had left off. If you guys see now, that's where it actually got cut off. Okay. Now we want to do a small chazara. We said in Siman Reish Tzadik Tet, in phase 2 of the Halacha, the Shulchan Aruch brought down that if a person was sitting and he was eating the bread meal during the day, he's allowed to continue even into nightfall without a problem, and he does not have to stop. We saw in the Mishnah Berurah in Sivkot and Gimel that the Mishnah Berurah said on the word Mi'ba'od Yom that if he started during the day, we saw that the Mishnah Berurah over there started using the language of Davka Bizman HaHeter, that specifically if he began in a permissible time. Yes, correct, that he began to eat in a permissible time. However, if he began to eat in a prohibited time, we said that he has to stop and he has to do Havdalah. Now, Rabotai, let's do Chazara again. So we're gonna do the review, because I wrote everything down after what happened. I'm like, Rabotai, I didn't want to lose the train of thought, so I decided to write everything down. I have it right over here in front of me. So let's go like this, Rabotai. So review number, we're gonna go with point A, point B, or 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. We're going to go like this, Rabotai. So we saw really the first halacha we saw as a review again, that if a person began during the day, he's allowed to continue into the nightfall. He doesn't have to stop even from drinking. And that was in the opinion of the Beit Yosef, no problem. That's point number 1. Point number 2, the Mishnah Berurah says, when did the halacha of the Shulchan Aruch say that you're allowed to continue to nightfall without a problem? So the Mishnah Berurah stated, specifically if you had started in a permissible manner. But if you had started in a forbidden manner, we would tell you would have to stop and do Havdalah. So let's just go a step back. What does it mean, permissible manner? What does it mean when the Mishnah Berurah says that he began to eat in a permissible way? What does that mean? So Rabotai, permissible way is defined 31 minutes before the 3 stars come out. Before the Zman of Shema. So that means if Shema is at 6:15, the person would have to begin their bread meal at 5:44. I need to go back 31 minutes. So that's what he says. Specifically, if you started in a permissible manner, which is 31 minutes before the Zman of Kriya Shema, or even way before that, I don't mind, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Then we're going to tell you that if night came, you're allowed to continue to nightfall. However, the Mishnah Berurah continues, if one started in a forbidden manner, which is defined as starting within 30 minutes of when the 3 stars come out, which is the time to say Shema, one must stop and do Havdalah. And we explained that this does not pertain to us on Shabbat, referred to part 5 of the Shi'ur. However, we did see that if one started after the 3 stars came out on Shabbat, one must stop and do Havdalah. However, if this was a regular weekday, one started to eat after the times of Kriya Shema when the 3 stars came out, then he would also have to stop. But why would he have to stop? Not because of Havdalah, because of Kriya Shema, which is brought down in the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Reish Lamed Hey, Halacha Bet. That's Siman 235, Halacha Bet. which we saw over there clearly. The Shulchan Aruch says, one second. Yes, the Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Reish Amid Hey Halacha Bet, ve'im yitchil ochol acher shegiya zmana, that if a person began to eat after the zman came, mafsik v'korek Kriyas Shema below berchotech v'gomer sudato. He has to stop. He has to stop eating. He has to recite the Shema without the blessings for the Shema, and then go ahead and say the Shema, and then continue eating his meal. And afterwards, after you finish your meal, you could go to shul and daven the whole Aravit prayer with the berachot and so on and so forth. So that's what Rabotai we're making. Remember, you guys have to refer back to part 5, because we just, Rabotai, if you saw part 5, you will understand why. There's a lot of details over there. So, one more time, Rabotai. However, we did see that if one started after the 3 stars came out on Shabbat, one must stop and do Havdalah. That's specifically for Shabbat. However, when we're dealing on a regular weekday, that if one went ahead and he started to eat after the time of when the 3 stars came out, he would have to stop, not because of Havdalah, because he has to say Kriyas Shema, which is from the Torah. The obligation of saying Kriyas Shema is from the Torah. Going back to the Shabbat case, when we said starting in the forbidden time, going back to the Shabbat case when one is in the forbidden time, which means in the 30 minutes of the Zman of Kriyas Shema, the Mishnah Berurah said, even if not for the reason for Havdalah, right? Let's say, take that reason away for a second. Even if it's a Shabbat day, one would have to stop anyway. Why? Like we saw, the same reason can apply for Shabbat, just like we use it for the weekday. Because of the obligation of saying Shema, which is from the Torah. Like it's brought down in the Shulchan Aruch, Siman 235, Halacha 1, Michla, Halacha 2, which says that one is not allowed to eat a meal within 30 minutes of saying Shema. Now, if we look carefully into the Mishnah Berurah, first let's see the Halacha. The Shulchan Aruch says over there, Asur latchil lechol chatzi sha'a samach l'zman Kriyas Shema shel Arvit. Again, Siman Reish Amid Hey Halacha Bet. It is forbidden for one to begin to eat within a half an hour close to the Zman of Kriyas Shema of Arvit. So, Rabotai, if you pay close attention to Shulchan Aruch, he says you're not allowed to begin to eat 30 minutes within the Zman of Kriyas Shema of Arvit. But he doesn't say you have to stop. If you did begin. But if you pay close attention in Siv Katan, Chaf in the Mishnah Berurah, he says, "Ubetor chatzi sha'a samuch letzet kochavim nami ke'achar shegiya zmanhu." But if a person is within 30 minutes, close to when the 3 stars have to come out, is considered also as if the time came. So that's what the Mishnah Berurah tells you here, that even if you're within 30 minutes, you have to go ahead, even if it's not for Havdalah, still you have to go ahead, you have to stop, and you have to say Kriyas Shema, which is from the Torah. The next case, Rabotai, can be applicable both to Shabbat or a regular weekday. The Mishnah Berurah continues to say that if one makes for himself a reminder, remember, we are still dealing, okay, let's make this very simple. If it's after the 3 stars came out, done deal. When after the 3 stars came out, according to the Shulchan Aruch, you have to stop. Since you began after the 3 stars, you have to stop and you have to go ahead and you have to say Shema. And then you could continue eating like we saw. But what happens if you are within the 30 minutes of starting Shema? So if Shema is at 6:15, you started the meal at 6 o'clock, which you're not allowed to do. So he says, the Mishnah continues to say, that if one makes for oneself a reminder, like an alarm clock, or ask a friend or a wife to remind him to be able to pray in shul, plus, on top of that, he's accustomed to going to shul at night to pray the Arabic prayer in his synagogue, then even though he was not supposed to start in the forbidden time, we're going to allow him to continue to eat because of 2 factors. Number 1, because of the reminder that he made for himself. Number 2, because he prays Aravit in a synagogue. So we see over here that if a person went ahead and he started in a forbidden manner, meaning inside the 30 minutes, which is close to the time of Kriya Shema, we're going to tell him to do two things in order to be able to continue. Number one, he has to make a reminder. Number two, he has to be accustomed to davening in shul, the evening prayer, the Arvit prayer. That is the opinion of the Mishnah Berurah. Let's continue to our opinions, Rabotai. Rav Chaim also agrees to the Mishnah Berurah's position. The Rav Chaim says clearly, Rabotai, that one is allowed to make for himself an alarm clock or a reminder, and he's allowed to go. Let's see it over here. Let's see the language inside. Make sure I have it. Here. That through a shomer, the Rav Chaim doesn't bring down over here, go to shul not, but if you made yourself a shomer, a guard, or an alarm clock that's going to remind you that you have to go to shul, the Rav Chaim is going to agree and tell you you're allowed to go ahead and continue eating if you started with sin inside the 30 minutes. Again, remember, Rabotai, it's asur to start. But if you did start, you made yourself a shomer, a guard, a reminder, an alarm clock, we're going to allow you to continue eating. That is the opinion of the Mishnah Berurah and the Rav Chaim. It's just in the Mishnah Berurah we did see that you also have to go to shul. However, Rabotai, we have dissenting opinions. Rav David Yosef Shlita and the Orli Tzion oppose the view of the Mishnah Berurah and say that nothing helps you until you say Shema. And only then make yourself a reminder and continue eating. Rabotai, listen to this. Rav David Yosef Shlita and the Orli Tzion, they both say like this, that even if a person made himself a reminder and he has the custom to go into shul to pray the evening prayer, they're going to tell you, well, that's just too bad. You started in the forbidden time, that's not going to help you. You first have to say Shema, and only then can you continue eating, because we're dealing with a mitzvah from the Torah. Now, but they do say that once you said Shema, you can't just continue eating. Now you have to go ahead and make yourself a reminder, and then you could continue eating. Continues the Rav David Yosef and Orli Tzion. Even though you said Shema before the time of Shema, you would have thought maybe it's not good enough. No, we're going to tell you it's good enough to rely on Rabbeinu Tam by saying Shema after Plaga Mincha when it comes to the bread meal. Now, Rabotai, remember that's the last thing we concluded, or that's the first thing we did today this morning with the Beit Yosef. That's what we're going to actually see. Excuse me. So we see over here like this. Before we continue to the next piece, we see that the Mishnah Berurah, the Rav Chaim, they both tell you that you have to make yourself a shomer if you began in the prohibited time, which is inside the 30 minutes, close to the 3 stars when they come out, or close to the time of the Zman of Shema. If you started there, it was asur. But if you did start, if you make yourself a alarm clock or a guard, and if you're accustomed to going to shul, we're going to tell you allowed to eat. Comes Rav David Yosef Shlita and the Orli Tzion, and they tell you absolutely not. Nothing is going to help you until you say Shema, because you began in the wrong time when you were not allowed to begin. Just because you make a shomer or you have to go to shul, nothing is going to help you. On the contrary, they say, you first have to say Shema. And after you say Shema, now tell your wife to remind you that you have to go and daven in shul, or put a alarm clock or an alarm, or put Siri to remind you that you have to go and daven. Just want to see something over here? Shh. Yes, that's what I was looking to say. Correct. Abotai, it's not only that you didn't make a reminder, they also hold over here, he also brings down over here, according to Rav David Yosef and Rav Chaim ben Shaul, even if you're accustomed to go to shul, so you have a reminder, you're accustomed to going to shul, they tell you nothing's going to help you until you say Shema, because you were not allowed to start inside the 30 minutes. Rabotai, from here, Rabbi Dahan referred us to Siman Reish Samech Zayin, that's 267. In Halacha, I believe Halacha Bet. Let me just see something. Halacha Bet. Rabotai, we saw there the whole Halacha regarding when a person is allowed to eat on Erev Shabbat from Plaga Mincha, is already allowed to accept Shabbat, and they're allowed to go ahead and down the Aravit, and they're allowed to eat immediately and do Kiddush and so on and so forth. But then again, Rabotai, we're making only review. Please refer back to part 5. So we say like this, Rabotai. According to us, one is allowed, according to the letter of the law, to start Kiddush and even finish the Su'udah before sunset, like Maran Shulchan Aruch. Because that's what Maran Shulchan Aruch holds. The Shulchan Aruch says, ובפלג המלך יכול להדליק ולקבל שבת בתפילת ערבית ולאכול מיד. From Plag HaMincha, one is able to go ahead and light the candles and accept the Shabbat upon himself in the prayer, in the evening prayer, and eat immediately. We saw in the Mishnah Berurah that he says, oh, you have what to rely on? You have opinions to rely on? Rabotai, halachically, we're going to go with the Shulchan Aruch, that if one came home after Plag HaMincha, after he said Aravit, and he did Kiddush, and he had a good meal, and he looks at his watch and he says, wait, it's still not even sunset. Forget about that. It's not even sunset. Shabbat didn't even come in according to the regular time. He wants to go to sleep early, whatever it is, or the people are old, they can't stay up. Doesn't matter, whatever the situation is. Halacha Rabotai speaking, you're allowed to do it. If you accept upon yourself Shabbat from Plag HaMincha, you light the candles after Plag HaMincha, you down the Aravit prayer, which then you accept upon yourself the Shabbat. You went home, you did the Kiddush, and you finished the meal, and you see it's still not sunset, not dark, nothing. We're going to tell you 100% you fulfilled the obligation of the Sudah and the Kiddush and so on and so forth. We saw another rule after that, but of course it's better to try to eat a kazait of bread after when the 3 stars come out. But it's not mandatory, it's not an obligation on us. Because Allah is like the Shulchan Aruch. If the Shulchan Aruch says, I could begin immediately after Plag HaMincha, good, I could begin immediately. There's no problem. And I could even finish way before the 3 stars come out, and I'm good. But we see over here, Rabotai, which also Rabbi Dan brought down, but nevertheless, if a person he still sees right now that it's after when the 3 stars came out, and he's still in the middle of the meal, it's preferable, we will greatly recommend him to go ahead and eat a kazait of bread now, to fulfill all opinions. Then we saw Kiddush could always be said before sunset on Erev Shabbat as long as after Plag HaMincha. The stringency is really on eating the bread after Tzedz Kuchavim, after when the 3 stars come out. So Kiddush could always be said even before when the 3 stars came out, but when it comes to the bread, we prefer you eat the bread when the 3 stars come out. Now, Rabotai, this is where we were dealing, this is what we want to see, and this is why we actually came to Siman Reish Samach Zayin in part 5 of the Shu'ur. If one prayed Aravit after Plag HaMincha, if a person went ahead and he davened Aravit after davening Aravit after Plag HaMincha, and he is within 30 minutes of the Shema time, the Mishnah Berurah says one needs to be careful not to start the meal, but rather wait until the time of Shema. Then say the Shema, and now you and now you're allowed to start your meal. However, if one wants to start the meal in these 30 minutes, he has what to rely on, and that's how we Sephardim Paskin. Rabotai comes out over here like this: that if a person went ahead and he prayed the Aravit prayer on, whether it be on Friday after Plag HaMincha, or even Rabotai a regular day, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a person went ahead and he went and he davened after Plag HaMincha Aravit. Now he wants to go ahead and he wants to start early to eat dinner with his wife or with the family, whatever the situation might be. Comes to read the Halacha and it says that if you are within the 30 minutes of saying Shema, remember, Plag HaMincha, Aravit, Shema is over here. So basically Shema is very far removed. So you have Plag HaMincha, Aravit is over here. Shema is over here. So, but if now, when you finish up the Aravit, by the time you come home, if you're closer to the time of Aravit, meaning you're within the 30 minutes, the Mishnah Berurah tells you one has to be careful not to start the meal in the 30 minutes, because like we saw in the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Reish Samach Hey, that you're not allowed to start in the 30 minutes. Again, if this is Shabbat, you're allowed to start. We explained this before because it's a lenient, you're allowed to be lenient, and so on and so forth. That's the halacha because that's what the Shulchan Aruch paskins. But, Rabotai, on a regular day, you have to always go back and forth. On a regular day, we're going to tell you that a person has to be very careful not to start the meal in the 30 minutes, but rather wait until the time of Shema. Then say the Shema, and now you are allowed to start your meal. However, Rabotai, if one wants to start the meal in the 30 minutes when it's Shabbat, like we saw in the Shulchan Aruch and the Mishnah Berurah, no problem. The Mishnah Berurah will also tell you he has what to rely on. And that's how we suffer in Paskin. That if a person went to Shul and he davened Aravit after Plaka Mincha, and now by the time he came home, he's within the 30 minutes, he's in the forbidden time, and the kids want to go to sleep, and the wife is, whatever the situation might be, don't try to be a tzaddik and prolong the time until when the 3 stars come out. He says what? Go ahead, and you're allowed to do it in the 30 minutes. You have nothing to worry about. Again, Rabotai, all the specific over here is when? On Shabbat. Because if it's going to be a regular weekday, it's going to be asur for you to start. Again, maybe I should have done the Reish Lamed Hebel Nether, because there's also other leniencies through Shomer and so on and so forth. Let's not touch the Rabotai. Just let's stick to this. Okay. Now, we saw, that's what we started today, that the Rishon LeZion Rav Yitzchak Yosef Shlita, the Rav Chaim, Rav David Yosef, all say that if one prayed Aravit after Plaka Mincha, then one is allowed to start within 30 minutes of Tzedek Kochavim. Oh, so he says right over here, beautiful. Okay. So you know something? Let's do this. Let's make it like this. Let's clear up this halacha. I don't like thinking about it. Let's put it like this. We have 2 cases. One, when a person davened Aravit after Plaka Mincha, and one case where a person didn't daven Aravit after Plaka Mincha. If a person davened Aravit after Plaka Mincha and he's within the 30 minutes on Shabbat or on a regular weekday, we see right now, he's going to allow you. You're allowed to go ahead and say Shema. But Rabotai, if a person didn't daven Aravit after Plaka Mincha and he's within the 30 minutes, that's where the Shulchan Aruch is going to tell you, Siman Reish Lamed Hey, Halacha Bet, that it's asur for you to start the meal as before you say Shema. You have to say Shema, then you can start the meal. Okay, good. So good. I got that out of the way. I just wanted to make that difference. Okay, beautiful. So continue back over here. So we see clearly from over here that Rav Yitzchak Yosef Shlita, Rav David Yosef, and the Rav Chaim all say that if one prayed Aravit after Plaka Mincha, then one is allowed to start within 30 minutes of Tzedek Kochavim. Tzedek Kochavim is at 6:15 for argument's sake. You are starting the meal at 6 o'clock. The reason why we allow you to start the meal at 6 o'clock is only because you had davened Aravit after Plaka Mincha. Had you not davened Aravit after Plaka Mincha, we would never allow you to eat in the 30 minutes, inside the 30 minutes close to the Zman of Shema. However, Rabotai, here comes the punchline. However, once the time of Shema came, then even if one prayed Aravit after Plaka Mincha, one is not allowed to start the meal until he says Shema. Rav Yitzchak Yosef, Rav David Yosef Shlita, and the Rav Chaim, all 3 of them are going to tell you this whole leniency of davening Aravit after Plaka Mincha that's going to allow you to eat the bread meal in the 30 minute, in the forbidden time, that's only in the prohibited time when the time of Shema didn't come. But once the time of Shema comes, if you did not begin your meal in the 30 minutes, now the time of Shema came, and now you only want to begin your meal, you're not allowed to go ahead and begin the meal before saying Shema. So comes out according to them that if a person davened Aravit after Plaka Mincha, now he comes home, whether it be Shabbat, whether it be a regular weekday, you come home. You went to daven after Plaka Mincha, now you come home. 6:15 is when the 3 stars come out. Kiddush you're allowed to do. Kiddush you have no problem with Kiddush, Rabotai. Everything is with bread. Kiddush is no problem, but now you want to eat the bread. They're going to tell you you're not allowed to begin to eat the bread meal since the Zman of Kriya Shema came. Rather, what you have to do, you first have to go ahead and say Shema, and only then you're allowed to go ahead and eat the bread meal. However, Rabotai, we did see today, and also the last class where it got cut off, we did see that Rabbi Dahan did bring down the Beit Yosef, which implies that once a person prays the Aravit after Plaka Mincha, he can start not only when it's in the 30 minutes of the time of Kriya Shema, but he can even start eating even when the time of Shema itself comes, he's allowed to start eating. According to Rabbi Dahan, the way he understands the Beit Yosef and also from the Oli Tzion, he wants to understand them very simply. That if a person came home at 6:15, after davening mincha, after davening Arvit, after Plagam mincha, he comes home and now it's 6:15, and now's the time to Shema. Since you already said Shema after Plagam mincha, good, we'll rely on that to allow you to eat the bread meal. But remember, we saw a very important concept. This Shema doesn't, after the Plagam mincha, doesn't fulfill your obligation. Like the Mishnah Berurah said, you have to go back and you have to repeat it after when the 3 stars come out. But we see from Rabbi Dahan that the Beit Yosef never made this chiluk. If he never made this difference, why did Rav Yitzchak Yosef, Rav David Yosef, and Rav Chaim make this difference? So that's what Rabbi Dahan wants to say, that if a person wants to start at the time when one has to say Shema, and he didn't start in the time of the 30 minutes, he wants to start literally 6:15 now, Rabbi Dahan says, go ahead, be my guest. Why? Because you already said Shema after Plagam Mincha. Rabotai, I did text Rabbi Dahan. He texted me back and he told me one is the halachically said one can be lenient. Rabotai, but as usual, which I'll probably say this one time, and from here on I probably will not say it, hopefully. But as usual, Rabotai, I would prefer going with Rav Yitzchak Yosef Shlita, Rav David Yosef, the Rav Chaim. Again, if you guys can see, I am using Rabbi Dahan's books. The work that I told you guys from the beginning, the work that he did is beautiful. Understand one thing, Rabotai, if we're not that I'm not agreeing with him, Chas v'Shalom, someone will ask me personally or privately something else. But when you're dealing like this, when it's being, it's going to be shown to a lot of people, and I don't know who, what, where, I try to stick with Rav Yitzchak Yosef, Rav David Yosef, Chacham Uvadi Yosef. I try to go with them all the time. Everybody knows, like with the Beit Yosef, he had the 3 major Rishonim. Not that the other Rishonim were not bad. I'm sorry, not that they were not good. They were big Rishonim. These were also big. He didn't take away from the honor. He just said, I want to go with 3 major Rishonim, and these are them. That's it. So he went with 3 major Rishonim. I believe it was the Riv, the Rambam, and the Rosh. He went with them. Even sometimes he'll go, and he said 2 out of 3, or even sometimes 1 out of 2, meaning he'll pick the Rambam over the other 2. Rabotai, what am I trying to tell you here? Same thing with me. When I'm teaching this halachot, especially through the media, I have to be very careful. Again, I'm telling you what Rabbi Dahan told me. If the person goes and he davens in Rabbi Dahan's minyan, and that is rabbi, be my guest, follow Rabbi Dahan. I'm not telling you not to follow. I'm not telling you not to follow the Or L'Tzion, the Ish Matzlich. I'm not telling you not to follow nobody. I'm just saying over here that when I'm doing this through the media, I want to try to stick with Chacham Avadia, Rav Yitzchak Yosef, Rav David Yosef, because they're very big Gadol. Not to say that the other people are not Gadolim, just I prefer sticking with them. Again, if you have any question in Halacha, always ask your local rabbi. In any event, Rabotai, with this we do conclude the review, and Baruch Hashem, B'lei and Har, we were able to do this because I was really worried because today is already Monday and get a chance to record on Saturday night or even Sunday. I was busy, Baruch Hashem, B'lei and Har, but we got this out of the way. The bottom line, we have to understand that these reviews are very important. Again, please listen to part 5 of the Shu'ur. After you listen to part 5 of the Shu'ur, jump straight to part 6. Start right away from where I left off with Rabbi Dahan and the Beit Yosef, making that difference. And from there, you see how everything is going to go hand in hand. In any event, Rabotai, may HaKadosh Baruch Hu bless each and every one of you with the true blessings in life, with all the blessings that there is, a lot of parnasa, a lot of atzlacha. May you guys see nachas from your children. May each and every one of you and your children, B'ezrat Hashem, illuminate the world with a Torah, Midot, and Avodat Hashem. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen ve'amen.